You've finally done it. You've played all 7 boards. You've conquered each and every Koopaling. You've even completed that weird side mode that they always include that, I guess is pretty fun, but also feels a little unnecessary. Like, I'm actually good on bad Mario Kart, You've done it all. Or have you? In a twist that absolutely nobody saw coming, because they definitely don't do it in every single Mario game, there was another hidden level to this game. One far more devious and challenging than any that came before. See, every party needs a crasher. And Bowser just so happens to be in town. Today, in the actual finale of my perfect Mario Party board series, I am putting everything I learned to the test. I'm busting out the dingbat principles one last time and creating the last perfect Mario Party board. Richard, hit that intro. It's tradition at this point to include a hidden Bowser-themed board at the end of every Mario Party game, designed for the more experienced players looking for more refined ways to end their friendships. So I'm sure you've all been eagerly waiting to see what devious, downright cruel board I've cooked up today. I mean, some of my past boards have already been pushing the limits. The only logical next step is to statistically dismantle the Geneva Conventions and create something that would make Jigsaw look like the Care Bears. And folks, I must say, I am sorry to disappoint. See, while I have crafted a Bowser-themed board for you today, I must confess, it does not include a single trap. There's not an unfair level of red spaces, a mathematical derivation of chaos theory, or a full recreation of Dante's Inferno. It's just a totally normal board. Sure, it's got Bowser's name on it, but why must Bowser always be the bad guy? Why does Bowser always have to be the one to sever your friendships instead of bringing people together? As the famous saying goes, Koopas just want to have fun. And so I figured, hey, the game's called Mario Party, why not let Bowser throw a party of his own? The final board in my statistically perfect Mario Party game is Bowser's Big Bad Barbecue. But bad like 80s bad, so it's actually good, trust me. After 40 years of fighting, Bowser has decided that it's finally time to bury the hatchet. He's throwing a little party in his backyard, and you're all invited. And not as the entertainment, not as part of the menu, as friends. Everyone's here to hang out, eat some food, play some games, and have a good time. It's a classic game of Mario Party as everyone travels around trying to buy as many stars as possible. Simple as that. Now, of course, Bowser is a generous host. He wants everyone to enjoy themselves, but he does have a few, house rules that you should be aware of. In past videos in this series, we've talked about the importance of having a game within the game in a Mario Party board. Some secondary goal or restriction that changes up the way you play and keeps each board feeling fresh. And so for this board, at the start of every game, Bowser will give you a few random house rules that all players must follow. Things like, hey, you know what, I would really appreciate it if people didn't run in my house, so don't use any dice block items, or It's kind of impolite to win more than one minigame in a row, wouldn't you say? Let everyone else have a turn. At the start of every game, you will randomly get 3 of these house rules. And every 5 turns, Bowser will randomly select a player, and they get to pick another house rule to add to the list that everybody, including them, must follow. So as the game goes on, you'll keep adding on more and more restrictions, constantly changing the way that you have to play. Now, I hear ya. Isn't the Bowser board supposed to be super chaotic? What's chaotic about adding a bunch of rules? And I do hear you, but here's the thing. You could just break those rules. There's nothing in the game that prevents you from using a double dice block or winning every single minigame. But if you do choose to break a rule, it's gonna earn you some bad karma with Bowser. Literally, every time you break a rule, you gain a point of karma. And if you get enough karma, Bowser will be forced to take matters into his own hands and start interfering with the game. Oh, you rolled a 10? Oops, looks like Bowser bumped into your die by accident and changed it to a 1. Oh, my bad, man, my bad. Oh, you landed on a blue space? Actually, no, I'm pretty sure that one's red now. Tough luck. And that is the delicate game that you have to play on this board. You can always choose to break one of the house rules to try and get ahead or give yourself an advantage. But doing so will cost you in the long run. Because once you get a point of karma, it's impossible to get rid of it. Bowser doesn't forgive, and he doesn't forget. The more karma you accumulate, the greater the odds that Bowser will mess with you. And if you somehow manage to get to the last 5 turns without a single point of karma, which will require a lot of restraint and a fair bit of luck, maybe Bowser will start helping you cheat by giving you free coins or helping you roll high or even aiding you in minigames. This is where the signature chaos of a Bowser board comes from, as people start throwing the rules out the window to get every unfair advantage they can, or scratching and clawing to maintain their reputation as everyone else tries to tear them down. Not only does this add a game within the game and a new level of strategy, it also adds a lot of replayability with new rules each time you play, and interaction between players as everyone starts adding in new rules to mess with each other. To make this system really work, you need a whole bunch of house rules that affect everything the game can track, from items to spaces to minigames, so you can keep getting new and interesting ones each time you play. So let me know any fun ideas for possible house rules that you have in the comments down below. Now, all we need is a board to complement this system. And now I could have taken a page out of the other Bowser Levels books and packed it with traps and bad events. But at the end of the day, is there anything really chaotic about a bunch of red spaces? At a certain point, the misfortune becomes predictable and loses its bite. But there is one trap more cruel and chaotic than any I could cook up. Humanity. Instead of filling it with spaces that cause bad things to happen to you, I filled it with ways that you can make bad things happen to everyone else. Remember when I said you weren't invited as the entertainment? Well, there ain't no house rule against lying. So, using the same exact formula from the very first episode, I generated this board, with a 48 space loop going around the outside and branching paths in the middle, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. To stay with the barbecue theme, this board is split into different areas that would all fit in a backyard party. You've got the house, a pool, the big grill, a gladiatorial coliseum where you duel your compatriots to the death, and a nice big yard filled with fun lawn games. Players will start at the gate in the bottom right corner. Making your way north, you will quickly come to the Coliseum, being run by Bowser Jr. Every single space in here lets you initiate either a 1v1 duel minigame against a player of your choice, or a 4-way battle minigame against every other player for coins or stars to the victor. The path is split, and these spaces alternate between 1v1 and 4v4. So, assuming you don't roll so high that you blow past the whole thing, you will always be able to pick which type of minigame you want. Now, that is potentially a lot of extra minigames if everyone goes in here, which could drag the game out a little too much. But remember, this board is all about letting players break the rules if they want. So if someone challenges you to a duel, but you'd rather hang on to that star, actually, thank you very much, you could just say no. Of course, you should know that Bowser has a strict no coward policy in his house. So for every duel you refuse, you will get 2 points of karma. Choose your battles carefully. If you continue north, you'll pass the first Toad shop, who, in addition to his usual stock of items, will always sell the dueling glove item. Basically, the equivalent of the Duelo candy from Mario Party 8, where you roll 2 dice and duel the first person you see. Now, I don't want a situation where someone literally never puts their stars on the line, karma be damned. So I think duels initiated with the item should be unavoidable. In the same way that if someone calls you up and challenges you to a fight, you could just not show up. But if someone rocks up to you and says, "We're fighting right now," you're fighting. You're getting jumped is what I'm trying to say. You'll also pass the first of 4 Bowser spaces where he'll force you to play some micro game, and you can get a bunch of bad karma and lose coins or a star if you don't do good enough. Bowser has a strict no loser policy too. After that, you'll come across the grill, where Bowser's cooking up some burgers and dogs for everyone. At the start of the game, he's still waiting for it to heat up, so it's mostly blue. However, as the game goes on and it gets hotter, the spaces slowly start turning red. And if you land on this green space right before, Bowser will blast it with heat and turn everything on the grill red for a few turns. So don't land there. Continuing along the top, you'll pass the first of 3 chance time spaces, because you know every good board's gotta have a chance time space, as well as the one and only DK space. Donkey Kong wasn't invited to the party, but you can find him peeking over the fence to slip you a free star. South of that is Bowser's Pool, complete with another Toad shop themed after a poolside bar. And Bowser would like to reassure you that Toad is here completely of his own volition. He hasn't been kidnapped and is being held as an indentured servant to make sure that the party goes off smoothly. Thank you very much. There's also a happening space here to crank up the heat in the pool and get everyone who's in it a few free coins. Unless, of course, there's someone in there with real bad karma, in which case Bowser might accidentally crank up the heat a little too high and boil everyone inside alive, making them lose half their coins. What are you gonna do? If you keep going down, you'll enter the house, which has a few chance spaces, one of 2 King Boos, who you can pay to steal money or stars from other players, and a happening space that lets you loot Bowser's fridge for some free items, at the cost of some karma, of course. Bowser has a strict no looting policy. I also had a fun little idea for the kitchen. If you pass this area, one of the Koopalings will take your order and throw a piece of meat on the grill for you, and give you a window of turns you have to get there before it's done. maybe something like 3 to 4 turns. If you can get back up to the grill in that window, Bowser will give you your meat and you get a bunch of free coins. If you're too early or too late, it's either raw or overcooked, and you get nothing. Now, of course, if someone else makes it to the grill in that window before you, they could always pretend that they were the ones who ordered that cheeseburger and steal your reward from you. At the cost of some karma, of course. What did he say? No looting. Read the sign. And lastly, we have the yard in the middle, with some interconnected paths to make getting around a bit easier. All the happening spaces out here let you play some classic yard games against the various Koopalings to try and get some free coins and items. You could play Wiffle Ball with Wendy, Can Jam with Lemmy and Ludwig, join Iggy on the putting green, some pool volleyball against Larry, and I hear Roy plays a mean cornhole. And of course, each of these games gives you the opportunity to cheat, if you don't mind the consequences. And there you have it. Bowser's Big Bad Barbecue. I know some of you might be disappointed that it's not some insane torture device that would make the Spencer Mansion look like Candyland, but it all goes back to one of the core tenets from the very first video. Pure random chaos can be fun, but it's far more fun to wield that chaos like a weapon and inflict it upon each other. With lots of ways to duel your opponents and optional house rules to change the way you think about the game, I think this board will provide way more chaos than 50 red spaces ever could. But what do you think? Do you like this board? And now that you've seen them all, which one's your favorite? And for everyone who's followed this entire series, thank you so much. I had a ton of fun making all of these and reading all your suggestions and ideas in the comments. And if there's any other games that you'd like to see me try to statistically improve, let me know. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go challenge Richard to a duel. Oh, no, there's no saying no. Oh! And a massive thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, including Alex, Alakazam, Aspa102, Big Dog Tie for to Win, Captain Kirby, Sidian, Sherry and Mark, Stylish, The Boss Killer 94, Ty Studio, Tricks of Crows, and Moki Ubu.